All right, well, we just made it to the hotel and getting things cleaned up, and I thought I'd just kind of run through quickly what was in my pack, what we carried for the 17 days on the John Muir Trail, kind of how I packed it here. Admittedly, I did put some things down in my bear can that I ordinarily would not have on my bear can, which you'll see here in a minute. But I'll just kind of go through, just give you a high-level overview of what's in the pack. Here on the outside pocket, obviously these are my shoes. I obviously hiked in these. I wore the sandals that I have on now just at camp, and I strapped those on the back. So I have my shoes. They're the Ultra Lone Peak 5s plus a pair of Dirty Girl Gators. Those are in my, I just had those stuffed in as we were traveling. Poop and hygiene kit. We won't go through that in detail, but that's what's in there. Also in the outside pocket, I have my first aid kit. Really the only thing I used out of here was the Leuco tape and fingernail clippers. I think I might have used the scissors once. And I actually used some KT tape on Mike's bum ankle as well. But that was all that was used out of there. Also in the outside pocket, I cut a sham wow in half. I used it mainly for condensation in the tent, to dry off after we jumped in the lake, those sorts of things. What else do I have in here? I had an extra leg sleeve. I've been having a little bit of a leg issue. I gave Mike the other one. Actually had a knee brace as well, which we gave to a friend of ours we were hiking with, but I wore that periodically. Bug net, did not use it at all. That's pretty much it in that outside pocket. In one side pocket, I would hold had a smart water bottle, 700 milliliter, and then also the Knock Vesica. So this is the collapsible 1 liter bottle. This is what I use to filter my water with. Worked out pretty well, although the opening being smaller did make it a little inconvenient from time to time. The other side pocket, pretty similar, except 1 liter smart water bottle, and then the just a Sawyer squeeze filter, and that took care of that. As far as the front, got the Chicken Tramper Gear water bottle holder. Use that, and I always a lot of times put flavoring in this particular bottle and just kept that up here in the front. On the other side, my journal, which is just down in this little Hilltop Packs pouch, as well as my InReach. I've got my sun gloves stuffed in here. I did wear those most of the time, and I also had a couple of just random rags in here to wipe my nose, dry things out. My buff was in this pocket as well. This pocket was primarily just for snacks. Right now there's a stick of deodorant in there. Bought that at the store. Thought my wife might appreciate that when I get back home. So that's in there right now. But this was pretty much just for snacks. And then the other side was for headlamp. This is the Nightcore NU25. I had sunscreen and lip balm in there, as well as my headphones for listening to music when the climbs got too tough or when I was bored. Also the cork massage ball. This is from Rology. Mike used this more than I did. I probably ought to disinfect it before I use it again next time. But anyway, it should be pretty good shape. As far as the inside of the pack goes, I just got my trekking pole strapped here on the outside. Obviously I use those to set up my tent and to hike. They're just here now for travel. On the top, I typically kept my sit pad. This is from, I believe, Dutch wear gear. And so I put that up there. And as you get into the pack, the way I had this set up, actually just on the back first, I had the 1/8 inch foam Gossamer Gear pad. I used this under my sleeping pad at night. I used it as a back panel. I used it when we stopped for breaks to relax, those sorts of things. Really multi-use, came in handy. I also used it to organize my gear as I was setting up in the evenings. As far as inside the pack is concerned, this is just electronics, so extra battery pack, cables, chargers, earplugs, all those in there. I would stuff my puffy and my Appalachian Gear alpaca hoodie down around my bear can to keep those, to keep it from moving around. And so then the next thing in there was typically bear canister. So this was typically filled with food. There's still a little food left. I do have my ground sheet, just a piece of polycryo, or polycro, I should say. that was usually stuffed in my outside pocket. My tent stakes are stuffed in here. That was usually stuffed in my outside pocket. A little solar charger stuffed in here, a few other miscellaneous things. But bear can was the next thing to go in. Beneath that, or beside that I should say, rain jacket. We did this a couple of different days. And then pillow. This is the Trekology pillow. If I had to do it again, I would probably take my Nemo Philo pillow. Much more comfortable and I sleep better with it. It would have been worth the extra 3 or 4 ounces had I done that. So next time. Beneath that tent, Gossamer Gear, the one. Obviously packs down really small, it's super light. The only issue I had with it was condensation a few nights, and I kind of expected that. It's a single wall tent, and we did have some rain, but overall performed well, sets up quickly, usually gets a pretty good pitch. It's plenty of room for me. I usually store my pack in the vestibule and a lot of things just up at my head end, but that works well. And I use this Hyperlight. This can actually be turned inside out and be used as a pillow, but this was basically my clothes bag. And so I had the socks that I hiked in, which is a pair of Injinji liner socks, and then a pair of Darn Tough or Teco Merino socks over top of that. So I had 2 sets of hiking socks, a pair of sleep socks, a pair of long underwear, and 2 sun shirts that I wore, and then just 1 pair of pants. One thing I would have probably brought as well would have been maybe a lightweight pair of shorts for swimming or for doing laundry or changing clothes or other things like that. And then in the bottom is my quilt. So this is the 20-degree Hammock Gear quilt and a Nemo tensor. Insulated is in here as well, and then the stuff sack. So that pretty much covers everything that we had in there. My weight was around 33 pounds or so, and that's with food and water. What I neglected to mention was I also used the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Versa fanny pack, and this was primarily for my sunglasses. I kept them in the front. Those are those Ambras sunglasses. My GoPro I kept in here, which is what I'm filming on now. Extra batteries in this Hilltop Packs battery pouch that tells you empty, full. And then I also had the tripod that I'm filming on, moment lenses for my phone, and a couple other just attachments for the GoPro that I never used and shouldn't even brought, stuffed in there. So that's it. That lasted us for 17, 18 days, and we were able to get everything taken care of in that regard. Served me pretty well. Overall, I was pretty happy with the gear. I'd make a couple changes. The poly cryo sheet, it really only lasted this trip. It's kind of ripped. I had to repair it. But otherwise, things really worked pretty well. I would have brought a different pillow, as I mentioned, probably a pair of shorts, and maybe left some of the other filming accessories at home, as far as I had a clip for the GoPro and things like that that I didn't use. So I hope this helps. I know I didn't go into too much detail on each of these items, but I just thought I'd give you a quick high-level overview. Stay tuned for the JMT videos. There's a lot of footage for me to go through, and I'm not sure how quickly that's going to get done. So this will be out before that, but you definitely want to stay tuned because we had quite the adventure. So until next time, get outside.